Lateral movement is one of the key parts of ring control. Without learning how and why to move sideways, a fighter will struggle with both attack and defense, because the ability to quickly move side to side is very important for cutting off the ring, avoiding aggressive opponents, or creating angles to reach better positions where you can hit the opponent, but they can't hit you. When done well, lateral movement can even help switch stances, as we showed in our recent video on switch hitting. These are the tactics top fighters use to dominate, but the exact footwork they use to do these moves is rarely explained. So, now we're going to look closely at that, breaking down the strong footwork patterns that the best fighters in history used to beat their opponents. Great movement-based boxers like Ali or Leonard could cover a lot of ground while also changing direction quickly, needing both speed and agility so they can move fast but not get stuck, always ready to change or reverse direction instantly. One smart way to do this is the L step, and also the reverse L step. The L step starts by stepping the front foot back like you're going to move backward, but then the back foot steps to the side. If you do it fast and smooth, the steps blend together and let the boxer quickly change angles. The reverse L step starts the same way, but then the front foot moves again, stepping out to the other side. These moves work well because you can mix them with other footwork, like using a pendulum step to move forward or backward, then smoothly switching to an L step to move sideways. In my breakdown of how fast fighters like Roy Jones Jr. pull off risky moves, I showed this clip. But since I was focusing on something else, I didn't explain how smoothly he went from moving sideways to moving straight. He didn't pause at all. The movements flowed together, and that's what made it such a clever trap, because there was no warning before he changed direction, and that's how he got such good results. There's also a very rare L-step version that still uses the same idea of going from straight to sideways, which we can call the forward L-step. This time, you step your back foot forward to make your stance square, with both feet nearly even, then push off to either side. The small forward step is usually done after throwing a cross punch, and you can either escape sideways or use the angle to keep attacking. Check out young Floyd Mayweather to see this move in real fights. Now, the L step is a great move, but the most basic sideways movement is the side step, which is very simple. You move one foot to the side, then bring the other foot with it. But there are special tricks you can add to this to make it much more effective. One big trick is called a rebound. You step left, but then quickly push off and go right instead. Or the other way around. Rebounds are important because they break the rhythm of your movement, making a surprise switch on the half beat that throws off your opponent's timing. Changing direction in the middle of a move is a smart trick. When you sidestep, it squares up your stance, meaning your feet become nearly even, and you can take this even further into a neutral stance. From there, you can do fun moves like shuffling sideways, called a lateral shuffle, and you can also use the rebound trick more strongly, going back and forth quickly to confuse your opponent and make them miss. But since this stance leaves your body open, you should use head movement to stay safe. One of the few ways to counter this is to sidestep yourself and block the opponent from escaping the ropes. Naoya Inoue is amazing at this. By reading his opponent's movement, he can trap them and keep them in place until he's ready to attack. Or if they try to run, he can hit them as they move, making the punch even stronger because they're running into it. Squaring up helps with lateral movement and combinations. But it also makes you more open. So sometimes it's better to stay in a narrow, sideways stance that protects you and lets you jab from long range, which is great for stick-and-move fighting. But how do you move well from a narrow stance? That's where the cross step comes in, where skilled fighters break the usual rule and cross their feet to move quickly while staying sideways, letting them cover distance fast and stay safe. Sugar Ray Leonard and Sugar Ray Robinson were both experts at this, and Muhammad Ali would even hop during a jab or throw a cross while his feet were crossed to gain more range. These are great examples of breaking the rules the right way, but since crossing your feet is risky, you should be careful with it. Just like with side steps, you can also rebound off a cross step by switching your feet and pushing off the other way, which helps mess up an opponent who's chasing you too hard. Now that you understand the reasons for using lateral movement and some clever tricks to go with it, you can start thinking more deeply. When should you move sideways in a narrow stance? And when should you switch to a squared stance? Just as important, when should you change between the two? A pivot to go back to a narrow stance, or a side step or L step to go into a squared stance at the perfect moment, can make a big difference, and don't stop at one change per move. Leonard would switch direction 2 or 3 times in a row and add some feints too, almost like drawing a zigzag across the floor. Watch his second fight with Duran, or even study basketball plays for new ideas. Once you understand the basics and learn how to connect them, the full picture becomes clear and you start to find your own way of fighting. From The Modern Martial Artist, this is David Christian wishing you happy training.